Well, how are we doing, Beatstar fans? This is iRosa505 here, and welcome to a pretty special Beatstar editorial. Today I would like to talk about Beatstar's identity crisis. More importantly, I want to talk about the change of Beatstar that happened since the beginning of the game to where it is now. We have a long video ahead of us, so let's not wait any further and let's begin. To get into the topic in particular, I want to talk about a little bit about Beatstar's Legacy, or what it used to be. The legacy for Beatstar used to be about any popular song or underground song in the game having a fun chart to play with. It serves for endless creativity and turning different types of songs into fun gameplay mechanics, and also drives in not only just the competitive nature of scoring medals, high scores, and new songs to unlock, but also has the right balance between casual, relaxing players and competitive side of playing. Basically, it's a game that can relate to anyone. Now, I touched upon Beatstar's common identities before, but let me rephrase them real quickly. We have the introductional era, which actually has Beatstar throwing in a wide selection of songs into the game. This was known for its great gameplay and replay value. Then the deluxe mode, where it gave a song a different take on a song, whether cut or pattern. The identity focused in more ways of creating more fun charts and exploring new gimmicks. And of course the cosmetics era, which actually focused on giving new trash skins or avatars, just giving a more cosmetic feel to Beatstar. Didn't really affect the gameplay, but still was something interesting to behold. Now, I bring this all up because 2025 was the point where players had some glaring issues on Beatstar. It presented itself this year that had players scratching their heads or outright quitting the game over its frustration. The decisions made by this game this year in particular really soured on a lot of players, and it confused the intended identity of Beatstar's Legacy. Basically, throughout this video, I will be covering the following topics of Beatstar's decision this year: the alternate charts, the new classical genre, and lack of new stuff. So buckle up, because here we go. Firstly, let's get the elephant out of the room, the alternate charts. In late July, Beatstar introduced a new way to master different versions of existing songs, the alternate charts, or basically recharts for some. Throughout Season 49 onwards, each season will be either filled to the brim with alternate charts or have a majority of them. And these charts were intended to give either new players an easier version to play the song or a harder version to master the song. Now, in hindsight, this is a good idea on paper, charts that could sometimes outstand for how they change itself in the standard or deluxe variant, and it also would mean that the songs that didn't have deluxes yet could have a chance to shine in their own regard. So that sounds good, right? Well, the alternate charts have caused more problems here than anything else for a lot of players. Firstly, regardless of the chart, the game's core is to incorporate new songs to support artists. Reusing the same song barely helps. In addition, it eliminates room to add more new artists into the song, with a $10 season with only recharts combines to be a complete waste of time for competitive players. And despite some great alternate charts in this regard, about half of them were not needed and feel like they're serving filler. Some players just don't like it and just find it lazy. In addition, the gimmicks run dry faster than the deluxe variant because alternate charts don't use any new gimmicks. It's either slightly up or down plays that the song's chosen. And lastly, this would just confuse players in the long run of what the idea of the game was. Recharts are flowing into the tour pass, and it just hurts the identity of Beatstar's establishment of the tour pass. And the old establishment of the tour pass was to give new or old artists a chance to shine in the spotlight with new songs in particular. So despite a unique idea, it just caused more issues in the deluxe variants. But with that being said, Beatstar seems to be lowering the number of alternate charts per season, besides Season 58 of course. Season 56 and 57 seems to actually add more newer songs in particular, but it's still a lesser margin. But with that front, they at least know about the player base, knowing how much they don't like the alternate charts in particular, and try to maintain variety. However, the alternate charts overall still presents different issues for players in Tour Pass, one way or another. Next up is the new classical genre. In March 2025, a new group of songs were introduced to combat against the alternate charts of Beatstar, and this new genre was the classical genre. This meant that the new songs and charts this year would mostly be classical songs. But thankfully, unlike the alternate charts, the classical songs were more positively well received by players in terms of gameplay and song variety. And while the genre is still very limited in terms of outside things like track skins and event usage, it makes a good breakthrough of a new genre that no player could have expected in the game. But if it was positively received, why am I bringing this up? Well, in hindsight, there's nothing wrong with introducing a new genre into the game. I, for one, actually welcome the classical genre. However, it led to unintended problems in the game. Firstly, while this genre hasn't been overused yet, many players feel like this is just predictable on Beatstar's part just to not add any new popular songs. In addition, players just can't expect new songs in Tour Pass anymore because the only ones they can expect is classical only, which while still good, doesn't fit everyone's taste. And lastly, people just think it's extremely formulaic. Relying on just classical for new content isn't helpful in the long run for players. I do think this is a bit of an over-exaggeration on their part, but I can definitely see where they're coming from. When it's just only classical for the new stuff for Tour Pass, it doesn't really stand out for a lot of things what the players want. And lastly is the lack of new stuff. Beatstar 2025 is facing the biggest issue for main players, lack of new content. Beatstar has been barely putting out a lot of things, like new deluxes for Tour Pass and polls, old Tour Pass songs being put into shop boxes, we're still on Season 51 still trying to be added to the boxes, and of course new artist spotlights. They usually get them once in a while, but it's usually once in a blue moon. The stale nature of this game hinders the identity of what the game used to be, because while the old days were expensive and have a lot of things going for it, they were able to give a surplus of content while still experimenting on new features. Beatstar 2025 is stuck in this position. Now to ask the hardest question, why are they doing this? In my opinion, there really is no easy answer to explain this question as many players have asked before, but I do have a few guesses. 1. With the transition of SpaceX to NextB, the new change of the company caused them to step away from new things from the game for the time being. Many do speculate that they're probably working on a new game or something else behind the scenes, but it's kinda hit or miss what you really think about it. 2. The developers were trying to experiment an idea to have more charts in the game, but to save money on new songs. So afterwards, it proved to be more substantial for new content, but not new content. I'm still a little bit iffy on this theory right over here because maybe for a fact they do want to put new songs in the game, but maybe they're having some technical issues of doing that. And 3, the game is either running out of new songs to put in the game or becoming desperate to keep their players through little new content. We do see that time and time again they do add some new content, like the whole entire country drop they did a month ago, but it was country star ports, and honestly, the guess is yours. What do you think what the biggest problem with Beatstar nowadays would be, or why they're doing this? So with all that being said, what is Beatstar's identity now? By 2025, Beatstar seems to be lost in their new decisions to please their intended player base that they built up for over 3 years. And with this in mind, their identity seems to be trying everything they can to keep this game going, but they're missing the intended thing what they used to be good at, which is variety of songs and timely manner of new content. So with this in mind, players are having major issues with this new identity of Beatstar, and it led to a massive loss in their player base due to a lack of interest, which is really sad on their part. So with this in mind, Beatstar's identity seems to be in a slump right now. We don't know how long they'll be in this slump or if they'll get out of this slump, but only time will tell. So with all this in mind, is there any hope for a change right now? Honestly, I really don't know. Tough decisions are ahead about what Beatstar will do right now in order to actually try to change the game or keep their player base. And due to basically taking a break for a whole month for Season 58, trying to focus on whatever they're trying to focus on, I just really hope Beatstar gets back to the swing of things. Many people do speculate that things can change, and if you do think that Beatstar can change in the next few months or till the end of the year, it's your choice. For the players who do left, it's their decision why they want to leave the game due to a lack of interest, and can't say I blame them. But if you're still holding on to this game and making sure that there's some slight hope that there's a change, then you do you. For me, I'm probably in the middle ground of it. I do think that they can change, but knowing how we're 6 months in and there's still nothing that new, I want to hold my breath. But yeah, to end on a positive note, I just hope that there's just a slight change for those players who are still playing the game for fun. And regardless how many of us can see how this game is changing, if you still play the game, I really hope the game just changes enough for everyone to enjoy still. But anyways, that does it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching this really hard video for me to make. I really did actually took my time and actually trying to understand how Beatstar was this year and narrow it down to the highest margins of where they're struggling right now. And honestly, I just hope they change for the time being. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.